Hey, what's up, guys? What is up? I am back. It's your main man, Professor Omni. I know it's been a while, it's been like a good 2 weeks or so. Yeah, I've been busy. I've been hella busy. But I'm here again. Yeah, I may go away a little bit sometimes, but I'm never too far. Just want to let you guys know that it is peace, it is love, it is guidance. It is what it is. As you can see, I thought I'd do something a little different today. I thought I'd show you guys the fishies. They're so cute and so innocent. Yeah, as I said, something different. So, as you can see or hear, shall I say, there's no music. It's just going to be me, you, and the fishes. And we're going to talk because there's a lot to talk about. Sorry about the camera movement and all that jazz, but yeah, it is what it is. So, first of all, how has everyone been so far? Hope you've all been well. Yeah, hope your lives have not been going too fast. Because, you know, everything's at a million percent, a million speed right now. Yeah, returning from a cold, by the way, guys. It wasn't too much of a bad cold, but one of them ones where you can't breathe at night time and you feel like you're gonna flub and die. And I'm like, what the flub? So yeah, there were some tough nights in terms of like trying to conk out and catch some Zeds and not being able to, like tossing and turning. I'm sure people have been there before. But yeah, we're here, we're back. Try and get all these little fishies in this picture. You can see it a little bit more. Yeah, oh gosh, if you guys are gonna ask me the names, oh gosh, I'll have to get my little one down in Miracle to help me as well. Yeah, but another time I'll definitely go through the names. Yeah, I could tell you the main dudes, well my main dudes anyway. The one underneath there, you can't see him properly, but he is hidden. That is Count Alguila. He's an algae eater, uh, related to sharks, of course. This one here, this long one here, that's Falcor. Yeah, if anyone knows the Neverending Story, they'll know Falcor, the Luck Dragon. So that's Falcor. Yeah. These two little roundies here, one swimming down, one swimming at the back there. They're Gobstopper and Jawbreaker. That one going past us now is Tigger. This one here, I call Deadshot. He's got one black eye. Miracle calls this one. Did she call him? I can't remember what she called him. Sir something anyway. And then you've got, gosh, wait. So you've got Lightning, which is that tiger fish there. One sec. Oh, let me zoom in. All right, let me try and find him now. There he is. There he is. See that guy there? He's swimming at the top there. Yeah, that little one there. And then the two little ones there. So that tiger fish. Sorry, zebrafish. Sorry, is it zebrafish? I think they call them. I can't remember what they call them. But anyway, yeah, that fish. His name's Lightning, and he had a compadre called Thunder. Well, Thunder's gone now, so I can't remember what happened to Thunder. We had quite a few fishes before as well. We've gone through quite a few different fishes, but some of them have been there for a long, long time. Yeah, well, not long, but long enough. Like those two little ones there that swim close to each other at the top there. That's the Brinettes. Yeah, and there was more of them. There was one called Bryn, and she had the Brinettes as well. And there was like a little group. But yeah, some of them have gone as well. But yeah, I hope everyone's been okay. I hope you guys have not had too much of a crazy couple of weeks. Yeah, it's been a bit crazy, I know. Life is like that sometimes, but you know, what are you gonna do? It's one of them things. But we'll get back into that anyway later on. Yeah. So we will get straight into it, and I think today, even though we'll talk about ideas for the future and things like that, yeah, I think today would be more of a, yeah, I wouldn't call it a rant, but I'll definitely add some. Yeah, I'll keep to the program, of course, guys. But yeah, because after a while, you get a bit fed up of seeing things happen a certain way, you know, in this world and around you and stuff. Like, all right, so has anyone ever woken up and just thought to themselves, why am I even attached to this this race? Like the human race, like human species or whatever. Like, how, like, I don't know, if you wake up, anyone wakes up and they feel so different, like, to the point where you're thinking to yourself, yeah, am I really part of this race, like this species? Like, why do I feel so different? I don't feel that. Obviously, I've got angry before, and I've had some bad things happen, some bad situations where people have, like, to people around me or maybe myself, maybe, and I haven't reacted in the normal, like, what you would expect, like how people might generally react in situations like that. I've might have come across even more placid at that time as well. But yeah, in reality, I think it's just how I process things. Yeah, and how I let things affect me. Yeah. We've all been given a mission, guys. Each and every individual, single person has got a mission. And I wouldn't say necessarily your mission is to go out and kill or anything like that. Yeah, because I don't agree with things like that. I think all those things are beneath me, and they should be beneath you guys as well. Because, all right, I'm looking at it from this perspective, guys, yeah. For me, I feel like, even though obviously I'm only in my 30s or whatever, but I feel like we as a species, as a race, have been here way too long on Earth for us to still be doing the same things. And they always talk about history repeating itself and all those kind of things. And yeah, I agree, because history has been repeating itself. But the reason why is because no one's necessarily learning the lessons. Like, people are still, like, and the thing is, like, so I was talking to one of my youngers today. Yeah, one of my my boys and stuff. In fact, two of them actually, and yeah, it was a conversation where I was saying to them, yeah, like, the problem is, and this is why the mission, in that sense, if your mission is to obviously try and help better our race and that kind of stuff, because that's pretty much most of our mission should be that in the first place. Like, what I mean, why else would we be born? Why would we be here, put in such a mad situation? So for me, I'm saying, like, every single day, every moment, people live, like, people be born, get born, and then people also die, whether it be through natural causes or violence or accidents or whatever the case may be. But that's the actual thing that makes the mission harder and possibly long, because you have to always constantly teach, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's all good, well and good teaching and stuff, but I feel there needs to be a better way of spreading the knowledge and spreading the awareness. Spreading the message of a mission. Like, the mission is to better our own race, our own species. Like, we could be doing some amazing things right now, and it's not always going to be through technology, like physical things. A lot of it is to do with spiritual things, which some people ain't even sorry, which some people ain't even aware of. But the reality of it is that we are here with a mission but not just like a lot of people. I'm pretty sure everybody actually has fought this. Every human has fought this thought at one time in their life at least, where they're just thinking, like, why are we here? Like, why am I here? Like, why was I born? Why? What is this kind of thing? What is this reality? Because that's like, you know, you're just born into a place and then you just got to get on with things. Excuse me. So, I mean, there has to be a time where people learn, you know, for me anyway. But yeah, I think that's part of my rant today, if you want to call it a rant. I mean, I'll lead straight on to ideas of the future. Yeah, we'll get on with it. So basically, ideas for the future. Oop, let me change my position a bit. Sorry about the cameras, guys. Sorry about the camera. Ideas for the future. I've been hearing people be worried about, you know, incoming, what will be the word? Meteors, asteroids, space debris, that could pose a possible threat. My little fishy gobstopper's watching me up there. Yeah. Right. So, basically, I thought of an idea where what would happen is that you imagine every country, every main country, countries that have resources. Basically, I would say to make a weapon, but it's not a conventional weapon, and it can only shoot upwards as well, which I also believe is really good and really it makes things a lot safer. But it's a laser weapon that you can use like, imagine you've got, like, let's say they cost about, I don't know, 2 billion each. Let's just say, like, I mean, it doesn't necessarily need to cost that much because that's a lot of money. In my eyes, 2 billion, I can do a lot with 2 billion in it. And these people, I feel they spend way too much money in it as it is, on these projects that are tiny in comparison to what they should be with all that energy they're using via money. But so basically, you would have these systems where they'll be mounted in and on and through the ground, like in terms of the surface and underneath the surface and above the surface. So they'll be three-dimensional in that sense. But they'll be able to charge up, obviously, and shoot out laser beams that will obviously connect to other ones. So imagine, let's say they got, like I said, 2 billion each, and per main country or per country in general, you would have, let's say, just 2. So you spent 4 billion on that project. The only issue is, depending on the size of the country, obviously, you can have more in terms of this. You can scale it up, obviously, in terms of the size of your country or continents. Therefore, like places like Africa, Asia, you know, whatever the case may be, Russia, whatever, United States, like all these big places, basically. Anyway, UK, I don't think we would need too many, maybe 2. You know, 1 on the top, 1 on the bottom, kind of thing. We wouldn't necessarily need more than 2. But imagine that you could use. So imagine you've got a incoming city destroyer or whatever the case may be, something big that maybe the size of a bus, or I don't know, even like an earth killer, a world killer, which is like, I don't know, something the size of, you know, like a city or something, yeah. Or even a town, even, I reckon I could do it, depending on its density, what it's made of, its trajectory, like its speed, its everything, yeah. Density, all sorts of stuff. But basically, these lasers would basically triangulate whatever the threat is, and imagine you've got whatever countries are closest to each other. Imagine having them in the sea as well, by the way. But yeah, imagine whatever countries are closer to each other, they can basically shoot out these beams, and they will triangulate. So let's say it's a really dense, strong asteroid or whatever, meteor or whatever the case may be. You will shoot out a beam. It will shoot into a direction, in obviously the direction of the thingy. Lock onto it. Then the other ones will also lock onto that where that beam is, and it will obviously intensify the beam. That's one way of doing things. It will explode it. But I think if you was to have loads of mini ones and stuff, you could actually, I mean, the first thing to do really would be to have a strong enough power grid. When you're dealing with technology of any kind of sorts, especially like if you're dealing with powerful stuff, whether it be military or industrial, whatever the case may be, you need to have a strong power grid. You need to have a strong power source. So most of the money, I would say, if we're talking about money as an energy, which it is, most of that energy would be put into making a grid that can actually supply the power to actually, to actually, like, basically destroy these incoming threats. So that, I think, would be my idea for the future, because it could work. I've thought of these kind of things before. It could definitely work, but you would definitely need to have a strong enough power grid. So you would have, like, us as a species or a race or whatever would have to think outside of the box, or our own sphere in that sense, and start thinking about other technologies. Yeah, I would go magnetism is one of them. You can actually propel light to a higher frequency and therefore make it slightly faster via magnetic power. But they'll have to obviously look into that one. But yeah, you can do that. That's possible. Yeah. The only thing is, with when it gets to light and frequencies getting higher and stuff, light seems to thin out. It's almost like you're not diluting it, but it seems to thin out. It's hard to explain what I mean by that, but yeah, it just seems to thin out. Yeah, light reminds me of milk. So you got a nice, strong, thick milk. Let's say a whole milk, blue cap or whatever. And then the higher the frequencies get, is the less fat that milk has. So it becomes skimmed, semi-skimmed, and all that kind of stuff, Yeah, low fat, lactose free. And then it gets thin and thin and thin. Not saying that those ones are thin, but you know what I'm trying to say. That's how light works. And then before you know it, you'll get into a completely different spectrum of reality and awareness and all sorts of stuff. But that's another story anyway. So yeah, guys, that's my idea for the future. Tell me if you guys like it. If you want me to explain it, I'll do it properly, and I'll actually design the thing in another video for sure. It'll be my pleasure. Yeah, let me know what you guys think of the idea. I know I haven't drawn any diagrams and stuff, but like I said, I will if you guys request. Because it's not the first time I thought about it. It's actually something I thought about for a while now, some years, thinking about protection over a massive, like, protection for our race, basically, especially things like meteors and stuff. There are things you can do, and you can change those things, Another thing would be rotation as well, things that rotate. Rotational energy mixed with magnetic energy, mixed with other things, light energy and stuff. You can make a very powerful laser. and you can make it as big in terms. When I say big, I mean as big as in terms of a broad diameter. Like it could be wide, it could be a real wide laser beam. Obviously, you wouldn't want any birds or planes or anything next to that when it's going to be, you know, fired or whatever. And imagine right, let me think. What would be a good analogy? Something that can move. Imagine, you know, like a security camera. You know those little round ones that people fit on the ceilings. You get them in superstores and all sorts of stuff. Yeah. Imagine one of those kind of things where it's only looking in one. It can look in one direction, but it can look from different angles, basically, innit? So it's looking straight. It's looking straight ahead, but then it can look down straight ahead. It can look, you know what I mean? It can look whatever, innit? So imagine it can do that, and then so it can basically adjust itself to the positioning. So let's say, where are we? Let's say this. Let's say Gobstopper was a meteor, and he was coming down, and then the lasers would be like this, like a round ball, and lock onto him, and he'll try and escape, and it will follow. And obviously they'll be smart as well. They'll be interactive and be smart with each other, so they'll be able to beam on and go. Nah, I don't want to hurt little guy. But yeah, you know what I mean. Tell me if you guys like my little sound effects, my laser effect. I don't know why they sound like that. But yeah, yeah, that leads me into tech talk. Tech to tech, Mike tech. Tech talk. I'm planning to do some stuff, but later on in life though. I'm not going to do it just yet. But yeah, I can involve that in tech talk, I suppose. What tech can we talk about? I suppose we could talk about an AGG system. This is going to be interesting, actually. I'll give you guys this one for free, because it's not an actual working model anyway, to be honest. It's just, I was just drawing a very rough idea of what it's just a rough model. You guys can't see that. Let me try and put it, oh gosh. Can you see that? There you go. Alright, that's like a rough model of what I'm trying to do. That is sort of like a what I used to call an AGG, anti-gravity generator, but it's actually a magnetic supermotor, I suppose. It's pretty hard to describe, but yeah, I don't know. Like there's coil conductors, like coil rod conductors. There's plus and minus magnets, neodymium, of course. There's all sorts of stuff, transistors. There's everything in this kind of stuff. Sorry, you guys can't see it too tough. But yeah, that's the magnetic supermotor. Basically, like I told you guys before, it uses cylindrical force and static electric to get a charge. Well, to open the charge, I would say, or release the charge. And obviously you can get a translator or a transmitter, whatever the case may be, and you can translate energy. You can get an amplifier to amplify the energy. Yeah, and you can get a pretty basic but pretty well functioning light vehicle. Yeah, if done right. Yeah, and that's the magnetic supermotor, that is, guys. This one that I showed you just now isn't the best one. It's not the original one. It's not the main one at all. If I was to show you that one, you guys would be a bit, you guys would be a lot more happier, because this one doesn't really show you too much as of yet. But it's all good. It's all fine and dandy. There ain't no thing but a chicken wing, man. It's all good still. The main thing is that magnetics is the future. Eventually, we will start realizing that more. Yeah, it's just one of them things where people, you know. But I'm telling you, our race is young, innit? So, yeah, it's gonna take a while. They'll realize that momentum, you know. It's basically the Trinity, innit? Like I told you guys. I don't know if you guys remember me talking about the Trinity and talking about the power of three. Not the witch's power of three, but the power of three. Three being equal in balance. And the three are obviously momentum, magnetism, and vibration. And these three are one. You can get from any one to get to the other. That's the creator's signatures or signature, and they are fantastic. These kind of things came to me when I was younger, growing up and stuff, and just, you know, just learning about spirituality, learning about life, learning about love, learning about people, myself, learning about physicality. Yeah, I mean, who else here has been to the Omni VSP of life? Let me know. Because I have. I'm still going, I'm still attending. Yeah, it's a lifelong course. And it's amazing. It actually is amazing. To actually be involved in such a beautiful existence. And we have our flaws and we have our ups and we have our downs, and we're still growing for sure. But on the whole, we're beautiful and we have amazing potential. And I think that's the thing that gets me upset. It's the fact that we have so much potential as a race, as a family, but we don't see ourselves like that yet. And it's going to take a long time. I mean, a long time. And it could take a shorter time, but normally those kind of things happen over like really drastic things, you know what I mean? And then sometimes that's just a short fix. And no matter what, you'll always have some sort of someone or a group or whatever that will go against the grain in that sense. That would be like, yeah, no, we don't want any part of this. They're just trying to control us or whatever the case may be. Me personally, I just want to see us progress and succeed as a race. Yeah, I want us to do good, whatever that means. Yeah, I want the senseless killing and stuff to stop. I want people that are thinking about things like, you know, rape and crime, any sort of crime, to be honest. Just like to stop. Don't even go there. Don't give in to those kind of things, because there's a spiritual element to this, you know, to this life, and it's subtle. That's the thing about the spirit realm or the spirit reality, spirit vibrations. They are subtle, especially in this chaotic world. They're very subtle. They're under the radar, but they are very much so busy and working and active. When we're sleeping, they're still there and they're still doing their thing, and there's still a war going on. So while we're physically here fighting ourselves and fighting each other and disagreeing and, you know, all sorts of stuff, there's a spiritual side to it, and there's also a fight for our souls. Yeah, there actually is. You got to remember, like, we're like a vessel, we're like a conduit, you know. And if you could imagine, like, we're on a place where it's almost like the battle. The Earth is like a battleground, basically, for the spiritual war. And sadly enough, we get used as conduits, as puppets, and that depends normally on us obviously allowing ourselves to become one of those conduits, whether it be through anger or you know, whatever the case may be, fear, whatever the case may be, because we can't. I mean, it wouldn't be good to, like, imagine if you're aware of something, like, let's say you're aware that, I don't know, walking up this street every day, there's I don't know, radioactive waves or whatever, or nuclear poisoning and stuff going on only on this street. Now you know you're gonna keep walking down that street, but you're doing it because you think, oh yeah, well, I've got to make sure I show up and then make sure I look good for my friends, and my friends live down there, or whatever the case may be. Or, you know, and this could be applied to anything in life, really. It could be applied to you going out with your friends to party or whatever, and you know that one of them's got like a knife or something like that. They carry a knife with them. Like, if you think about it, you're actually you're becoming a conduit for Satan to be used, for you know, like the enemy to use you, in a sense where you might have to actually use that knife. Do you know what I mean? Like, and it's the same thing for guns as well. Like, a lot of Americans have guns, not a lot of them, but you know that they have licenses for guns and stuff. So a lot of them might carry. Like, I'm not trying to say that it can't happen, but obviously we're in the UK and we don't have that kind of access to guns. We've got more of a knife problem here. There are gun problems here, trust me, there's people getting shot and stuff, but it's not as massive as that. And if you look at America, and I'm not shunning Americans at all or nothing like that, it's just how things are right now there. And I'm sure there'll be differences in people's views when I say this, but because there are so many guns and stuff, and the laws are so, I would say, a bit flippant on guns, they need to sort of clamp down on that kind of stuff, because pretty much anyone can get it if you show to be okay, kind of thing, innit? But then you got people going into schools and stuff and shooting up class, and you know, going into like a cinema and shooting up the cinema and stuff like that. Like, it's becoming very crazy and very and all right. So my main thing is that, sadly to say, and it's going to be my opinion, but there is there are puppet masters, basically. There's a main puppet master, which is obviously Satan. Then he's got his guys underneath him, the fallen ones, and then they've also got their guys underneath them, and then obviously the you know, the chain goes down. So basically, they want to get to a point where they can just control everyone. So the more crime and the more people act up and people do wrong, whatever age or whatever the reason, picture the government like a boa constrictor. You've got caught in the boa constrictor's grasp. Now, how a boa constrictor works is, every time its prey takes a breath in, because obviously you need to breathe if you're alive, they would squeeze harder and crush ribs or whatever the case may be. They will basically clamp on harder. So every time that their prey is taken a breath in, a clamp is getting clamped on, it's getting harder. So it becomes harder to breathe. This is what's happening in society right now. And I feel that the quicker people realize this, is the more possible, and the quicker we can actually, you know, progress as a people and grow as a people. Yeah, we are very powerful. We have power to create own realities and change the reality around us. You know, we've got all sorts of things. We change the world around us and the earth around us. We're that powerful. But take a leaf from Marvel's book in that sense. With great power comes great responsibility. And we have a great responsibility on this planet to look after things like these little guys, to the biggest things, you know, to the most dangerous things, to the most subtlest things. We've got to help keep the balance, because we're the actual caretakers of the earth. So if we're there destroying ourselves and everything around us, how are we therefore caretaking the earth or taking care of the earth? Like, we're looking like a bunch of idiots, basically. We're looking like a bunch of children. And that is my issue, really. That's my little rant. Like, my issue those kind of things, is the fact that we've got all this technology and we've got all this scientific feats and stuff that we're doing, and everything's going through the old scientific way and wherever the case may be. But in reality, all those things are just practices, and they're not really helping anything. They're not helping us progress or anything like that. It helps you learn and understand and break something down, which is not always necessarily good, depending on what it is. Some things you should just leave alone, and some things should be left to like just the mystery of it all and stuff like that, because that mystery might help you grow in itself, you know. But whether you take away the shine from it, then you know you're not going to necessarily see it in its same light, and it's not going to mean that much to you. There's certain ways where we should speed up and certain ways we should slow down, I say. We should slow down in terms of our not so much our technology as per se, but in terms of the direction, because we're going so fast now, we don't even know where we're heading. You've got things like AI coming, you know. You've got Sophie, the robot, you know, the android or whatever the case may be, who's now been given, you know, citizenship in Dubai and stuff like that some years back. And I know they're meant to be making some kind of museum and stuff where they'll actually be talking about things like AI and whatnot. You know, their role in our future and red-a-tear. And all I'm seeing, the pattern I'm seeing is that people are forgetting about a spirituality. And I'm not saying to go to church or to do this or to do that or go to the mosque or look, or synagogue or wherever you may go, like the temple or whatever. Like, I'm not saying to do that, or I'm not saying not to do that. I'm just saying that we need to remember there's a spiritual side to things, that's all. And there really is, like, and they have proven it. They don't really necessarily like to talk about it in science, but it's definitely a proven thing. They've showed things like plasma and stuff coming out of people's mouths, like almost like a Ghostbuster thing. Some people said it was a hoax and stuff, but some of these things are definitely real, because cats and animals and you know, even babies and some of us actually can see it even when we're adults and stuff, you know. We can see all these things, like we can feel it. We can feel when someone's watching us with the empathy power, like empathic power. We've got, yeah, man, we can, and that's the thing, like it's the potential of the whole thing, innit? Like we could do a lot in it. We can actually do a lot. Like as a race, like we could literally do a lot in it. But we have to be able to get there together. We have to be able to like be on a similar page at least, or at least in the same library, man. It feels like everyone's trying to break out of the library and start their own library or whatever. But we need to be at least in the same library, on the same shelf or something. Not necessarily in the same book just yet, because that might take a while, but we need to start somewhere, man. Like everyone's trying to bounce out of the library and think, like, it's like, how are we actually going to learn if we're not in the library, fam? Like, this is the library of life, innit? And we're not even really trying to, do you know what I mean? Like, it's not even real right now. Yeah, but yeah, that's my little rant. I told you guys I'll do things a little bit different today. It's a bit of a mix and blend. Omni Supernatural, guys. Omni Supernatural. This is going to be a nice, quick, short and sweet one. This is the time when I saw a werewolf. Dun, dun, dun. Count Angela, help me. Oh gosh, yes. This story is literally about a werewolf. When I was younger, I think I was it was year 7, so I was probably about 11 years old, going on 12, because I was one of the oldest in my year. I used to go to Kings Park and stuff. Well, I still do, obviously, but I used to go to Kings Park when I was that age, going on to my teens, year 7. And I remember walking in one time into the park main entrance and seeing, well, as soon as like you walk into the field and stuff, I started seeing blotches of fur, and it was mixed in color. In terms of, it was like black, patches of white, patches of grey. and little bits of brown, like little specks of brown, like that kind of thing, like little bits of brown as well. And also it was accompanied alongside shredded up, like torn up, like when I say torn up, I mean proper torn, like shredded clothes. You can see the jean fiber, like jean fabric and stuff. You can see white shirt fiber. So I think it was a dude. It was just it was a mess in it. And the thing is, this wasn't. It was in a field. Like imagine the park that I was in has got. Let me see. 1, 2. It's got 2 main fields. Yeah, 2 main fields. Yeah. And in these throughout the field, yeah, there was this what do you call it? This fur and the shredded clothes. So it was a bit freaky, and this happened. It was weird. It started in summer, or round about summer, because that's sort of when you start school anyway. And then it continued for a couple of years, and I think by about the next year, I started to investigate, because obviously, like, if it's happening for so long, you're like, wait, what is this kind of thing? And there was just it's basically there should be like loads, like someone or people should have loads of dogs that all have the same sort of fur or whatever, and they all molt at the same time, basically, for there to be that much fur, because there was loads, like, and it wasn't just in one bunch, it was like scattered everywhere. And like I said, some of it was alongside torn, like shredded and torn up clothes. So I was like, this is a bit weird. This feels like this could be maybe a werewolf. And obviously I'm young, and we grew up liking things like that, Buffy the Vampire Slayer, and all sorts of things like that anyway. Blade, whatever the case may be. For those Marvel fans out there. But yeah, so that the following year, which was like year 8, so I was about 12-ish, going on 13. I remember going in the park, seeing it again, and being like, right, now I'm going to defo investigate this stuff. So what I done was I picked up some of the fur. Now, when I picked up the fur, it was really thick and really coarse. Like, every fiber was thick and coarse, like thicker than normal dog fur. And it felt more like wolf fur, because I've actually felt wolf fur before. So, yeah, it was one of them things where it was fantastic, man. It was, yeah, defo summer. And what happened is that, like I said, I investigated it. I picked it up. It was coarse in my hand, like proper coarse. And I was like, this isn't normal fur. This is defo wolf fur, because I've felt wolf fur before. And what happened is that I eventually created this thing called Werewolf Hunt. And obviously, it's not me creating the word or nothing, but in terms of my friends and whatnot, I created this thing called Werewolf Hunt, and I told my friends about what had happened, and that I want to start not hunting this thing to kill it or nothing like that, but hunting it, like track it down kind of thing, to find out if this is true. Now at the back of the park, there's a bit where you can jump over a little bridge bit. Well, there wasn't a bridge at the time, so you have to jump over the little stream. There's like a stream that goes through the park, goes through different parks. You jump over the little streams, maybe like 2 meters at the most, in terms of to clear it from one side to the next, because the park level side was raised on this like stone and stuff, so you'd have to jump anyway. And then the other side was like grassland, and then you can go from there to like the mental institute and the actual hospital as well. And then further down, it takes you to the motorway or whatever it is. And so basically, started an investigation, went with my friends. Like, we used to go in teams of anywhere from 6 to maybe to 12 at times. Like, the biggest would be 12, innit? But this happened for a few years, and I would bring people every summer, innit? Because it normally seemed to be around summertime that this happened. What do you call it? We went there after school time normally, innit? brought a team there one time, showed them, and the thing is, this is the weird thing about it, because on the other side where you jump over, like I said, there to the left, there's all this bushwork and all this like bushland and stuff, and trees and shrubbery and all sorts of stuff. And what it is that it used to be an active landmine field, and it led up to the motorway, like I said, and also the hospitals and that jazz on the right. And that was obviously behind fences and stuff. So you'd have to go quite far down to reach the motorway, basically. And that whole bit there is that whole werewolf strip, innit? The in between the park and the obviously the field on the other side and stuff where the hospitals and stuff are. So we was walking through that bit. Now there's a main tree there. This tree's pretty big, yeah. And there was a free. When I tell you that this is the honest truth, yeah. There was a free seat sofa, yeah, or couch, or whatever you want to call it, yeah, in the actual branch of the tree, like the branches of the tree, and it was off the ground. Like, I don't know how the person or peoples or whatever got up there, because they're quite weighty, they are to pick up. So I don't know how they got it so high, and it's just proper like perched on the tree. No, not super high because it wasn't a massive tree, but it was big enough, you know, like it was pretty tall. Like they had it at least, I don't know, 10 feet maybe off the floor, roundabouts. Yeah, roundabouts 10 feet, I would say. 10 feet off the ground and stuff. And it was obviously accompanied by like loads of mess like, on the floor, like what do you call this thing? Like Coke bottles and like you know, like food and all that stuff, innit? Like someone's been like living there basically, innit? And obviously there was the furrowers, the fur and the shredded clothes was there as well. So it was like, what the hell is going on here? So I remember we went there one summertime, proper nice, beautiful summer's day, yeah. Went further down the well, because obviously every time I would bring like a squad or a team there, we would venture further in, obviously, looking for this thing, innit? So we'd venture further down, going towards the motorway bit, yeah. But obviously in between the brush and stuff, yeah. Or the forest land, if you want to call it that. So basically what happened is that, look at him. He's pretty much a shark. You should see him move. Count Algs, this one here. Where am I? There's my hand. There you go. Yeah. So went further down, and there's tall grass there, obviously, because it's not really looked after like that. It's in like the middle of the park in a sense, and it's a bit weird. Like, they don't go there to do that kind of stuff. I don't even think they go there at all. Yeah. But basically, I was hearing noises. Like obviously we're walking through the path and stuff, and because the people make footpaths after one. But yeah, so walking through the path and following the path, I have my group behind me. We're all in tandem, innit? So everyone's behind me, like one after the other kind of thing. And I'm doing the whole hands up sign, like stop, wait kind of thing. And because I'm hearing like noises, innit? So I take a step forward, and then there's a pigeon that jumps out, flies out, yeah, wood pigeon, yeah, scared the bejesus out of me, yeah, like proper pants, yeah. And then I was just obviously spooked out and stuff, got into a little martial arts position, ready to fight and stuff, yeah. And then it flew off obviously as well. So then I literally took like 1 or 2 steps further, yeah. And I think at this time I had maybe like a group of 6 or 7. Because there was quite a few of us, but it was about from anywhere from 5 to 7 people with me, and looked up to the right, and there's a little bit of a hill, and like a little bit of a hill, like it's a grassy hill, next to like trees and whatnot as well, and then you've got the fence where you can go obviously to the right, which is on the right hand side, you've got the little mini fences where you can go to the hospitals or whatever, innit? So what happened was, I look to the right now, on top of this little hill bit, this grassy hill, and I'm seeing this furry, flowing body, this furry body, breathing, like proper breathing slowly, like, oh my days, it was spooky, yeah? Like, and you could just about see it, but its back looked wench, like proper muscly and big, yeah? I think in terms of a size, it probably was about 7 foot, 8 foot maybe. So that was scary as heck. Yeah, that was a scary moment. But yeah, when that happened, I pretty much took off and ran, and everyone obviously followed my lead and stuff, and we jumped back over the thingy, the water bit, and some of us fell in and stuff. It was quite funny, yeah. I'll never forget that one. That was a good one, yeah. That was a defo, and that's supernatural or extraordinary, yeah, for sure, because you don't see a werewolf every day. But I definitely saw the back, yeah, and I saw it breathing like heavily, and you could just see it moving up and down. It was so scary, man, on the top of the hill. And as soon as I saw that, I just bounced. You can even see a little tip of the ear as well, like slightly tip of the ear, and you could just, it's just the breathing back, like it was grey and brown, and oh man, yeah. And I just, as soon as I saw it, I ran, man. Oh, that scared the crap out of me. And it's possible that maybe me seeing the thingy, the pigeon, might have made me sort of see something, but nah, it don't make sense, because it felt like we was being watched, and everyone was saying it as well. The whole group was saying it. We felt like I was being watched, and that the click, the what do you call it? The you know, like twigs or branches snapping. That wasn't the, what do you call it? That wasn't the bird. The bird was in the grass, so I know that wasn't the bird that done that. And the sound wasn't even coming from there anyway. It was coming up from where that hill was, where the trees, the little mini trees and the grass thing was. So that was kind of spooky. Well, yeah, that's that one, guys. Yeah, I mean, scary, man. But it's not scary at the same time. It's fun at the same time. It's fun that I'm still here, because I don't want to be turned into no werewolf or anything like that. But yeah. I would do a vibe session today, guys, but like I said, it's going to be a bit different. I'm going to leave you guys with the Omni love. The message is love, as always. It's peace, it's love, it's prosperity for our kind. If everyone was doing... All right, so I'll put it like this. Love easily outweighs and outnumbers fear or hate or whatever you want to call it. So good, basically, is a lot more prominent on this planet and in this world than bad, and that's just a fact. You've got to look at it like this, innit? There's balance, and balance will always be balance. Basically, some people call it karma or whatever they can be. I call it balance. I'm very specific with these things. Look at him. Look at this guy. He's a joker. Yeah. So basically, balance is one of those things where there may seem like there's a dense, like that's all you hear about crime or something bad. Someone's dying, this person, someone's dying, that, someone's cheating, this person, someone's doing this for that person. You know, there's always something in it, always something negative you always hear. And that's what we get bombarded by. It's almost like propaganda in the news in a sense. They show you these things, and then in your mind, because that's all they show you, you think that's all that there is to that situation. But there's not. So where there might be a thickness of or a dense area or whatever of hate and fear and demonic stuff and people doing bad things or whatever the case may be, there's also a far greater scale of good that actually keeps the place balanced. It keeps it balanced out. Because imagine if all the good people in the world was to switch on all the bad people in the world, it will be like a cull, because we outnumber them, I don't know, 1,000,000 to 1. It's that bad. That's pretty much the stats in that sense. You can probably look out, like it's either 1,000,000 to 1 or something like. It's the amount of evil people in this world are nowhere near as the amount of good people in this world, isn't it? So remember that, and remember that love is the glue to the omniverse, and it's to do with balance. So there are aspects of fear in our lives, which is fine. It's part of our fight and flight. It's part of what keeps us going as a species. But you need to be able to manage yourself, you know, so that you don't take things too far. And so that, because if you do take things too far, like if you was to carry around a knife or a gun or whatever the case may be, and someone wants to give you a dirty look or whatever the case may be, you know, you've got the choice to look away, because you never know, they could be having some pretty bad day, and you just turn and look at the wrong time, and maybe you're having a bad day as well, and you turn and you look at the wrong time, and you catch eyes with each other, and both of you are screwing each other, and it's like, it's not necessarily you're screwing at each other. It's just that you're livid, you're vexed, you're upset, or whatever the case may be, and you manage to catch eyes. And that's when, you know, if someone's got a knife or anything on them, like nowadays is like knives and guns and stuff, then someone's gonna get killed or hurt or something like that. And if someone doesn't, or if someone does, then there's either way, there's always balance basically in it. So what would happen is that someone will come and someone will, like, let's say someone died in a gang or whatever the case may be, a group or whatever, a squad, and they die by getting stabbed or shot or whatever. So they just get killed basically, which is a sad thing. I'm not trying to take away from anything like that. I know it's a very sad thing, but it's the whole point in mentioning these things. If that was to happen, then the worst case scenario would be for their people to retaliate and go and kill the other person's people, or, you know what I mean, catch one of them slipping. Because what happens is that it ends up being the cycle, that ends up being the norm, you know, and you end up taking up someone else's beef, or you can get caught up in it. I'm trying to keep myself away from those things, and I'm thanking the creators that they cover me and my family and give me wisdom as well, and like the smarts and stuff. You know, I know loads of people that are into those kind of things, or not into them, but they know people that are, and they're not necessarily associated, but, you know, they know of the person and stuff, and that can get them in danger. And, you know, so I've told people like that before. I've told people the same thing I'm telling you guys. Like, there's a choice in it. In every situation, every circumstance in our lives, there's a choice, and it's up to us to do it. So don't let Satan steal your joy. Live, love, laugh, and love and live and enjoy life, people. I love you all. Hope you guys have a good night. Hope you guys have enjoyed the podcast. Enjoyed the video. Enjoyed my fishies. Yeah. Have a good night. Ciao.